if you are a competing team in Dynasty football, we've got win now trade targets. These are players that if we were competing, they might be older, but we want to get discounts on them.
Yes.
Because we think they could still offer really good value to your team. Now, do us a massive favor. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you like Dynasty content.
Please.
And comment down below if you are a win now team, who's a player you are targeting? Because, you know, maybe you offer some advice to someone else in the in the comments and they like it. You know, you never know. You never know. All right, we're going to give you 2 players each. I'll go first. And there's a lot of wide receivers here. We didn't really mean for this to happen.
I didn't mean for this. Maybe we should just change it to wide receiver win now trade.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, here we go. Firstly, Calvin Ridley. Okay, suspended all of last year. If you guys, I feel like all of 2022, in every single startup mock draft that we did on the live stream, I was saying, buy Calvin Ridley. Buy Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
It's the time to buy Calvin Ridley. And I've been on this train for a year now. I still think it's a good buy, okay? But all of 22, I was kind of screaming on our channel, buy Calvin Ridley. March 10th, 2022, check this out. After he was suspended, his value in Dynasty plummeted. He went from the wide receiver 24 to the wide receiver 62. What? And his community ranking didn't rise above 50 until November of 2022. So, I hate to break it to you, but some of y'all missed out on the biggest discount we have potentially ever seen in years in Dynasty football, okay? I drafted him myself in the 14th round of some Dynasty startups. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, you won't get that kind of discount anymore, but I still think, because he's currently valued as a wide receiver 35 in Dynasty rankings according to the community, I still think this is a discounted price. Let's keep buying until he reaches that mid to late 20s range. I currently have him as my wide receiver 27 in Dynasty rankings, and that's before the rookie class comes in. So, you know, let's see what happens. And just quickly, the elephant in the room or whatever, on the mental health subject, I have a ton of respect for him taking time, getting right, and doing everything he needed off field to be in a good headspace, because someone's mental health is far more important than what they can do on a football field. So I can't really speak on it medically, but I have a ton of respect for what he did. And I don't think it's something that we should factor into, well, will he be good for fantasy? It's like, who cares? Like, bet on the player, and then he will figure out that part of his life. But he has been very vocal on Twitter to say, I'm ready. I've been ready. Yeah. I am waiting and waiting and waiting. Yeah. Like, he is ready to come back with a vengeance. And let's remember, let's put some respect on Calvin's name today. If that's anything I do today, that's what I want to do. Let's look at this production in his career. In 2018, as a rookie, he put up 10 tuds. Wide receiver 22 as a rookie, 12.9 points per game. In 2019, a little bit of a step back. Wide receiver 27 still. And I think that was because he missed. He only started in 10 games, played in 13, so he missed some time, right?
Yeah.
15.2 points per game. It still went up. In 2020, the breakout year, 90 receptions on 143 targets, 1,300 yards plus, 9 tuds. He was a wide receiver 5, averaged 18.8 points per game. And then in 2021, obviously, you know, that was a little bit difficult because he played just 5 games. And you look at these numbers, and then you look at the games. Like, as a rookie, I said he put up 10 tuds. Guys, he started 5 games that year. He played in 16, but he started 5. In 2019, he only played 13 games. Still put up almost 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns. In 2020, the breakout year, he still only played 15 games. So, like, what could his production be? And it's not, he doesn't have any serious injury history. What could his production be this year? Don't forget the elite dynasty asset that Calvin Ridley was. In fact, come back with me, not even far. Literally less than a year and a half ago, he was the wide receiver 3 in Dynasty community rankings. Let that sink in for a second. He was the wide receiver 3 a year and a half ago. You, me, your mother, your brother, your father, your father-in-law, everyone had him as a top 5 wide receiver in Dynasty. That was September 10th, 2021. Put some respect on my man's name. Put some respect on his name. If anything, that's what I want to do today. And there's going to be this narrative, Calvin Ridley's old. Well, he's old already. No, he's not an old wide receiver. As of today, he's 28 years old. and 1 month. I even gave you the month. Come on, we're doing everything here. We're talking about 3 to 4 years of really good production or more. Let me explain. Because of his late entry to the NFL, he does not have many miles on his body. For reference, Amari Cooper, same age, has played in 125 games. Mike Williams, same age, has played in 85 games. Tyler Boyd, same age, has played in 103 games. Calvin Ridley, same age, played in just 49 games so far in his career. 49 games. And we have no serious injury concerns to talk about. No ACL or MCL tears or even sprains. No Liz Frank fractures, 8 Achilles tears, hamstring issues. He has been healthy for most of his career. And there's been like 1 or 2 games, I think 4 games he's missed in his entire career. And now you're joining an ascending offense in Jacksonville. Duval. Trevor Lawrence is taking this team places. And Jalen Hurts got A.J. Brown. Josh Allen got Stephon Diggs. We think we saw a breakout already because Trevor Lawrence got Christian Kirk. And I was a Christian Kirk guy this year. He was literally a my guy for me in redraft leagues. But now Trevor Lawrence gets Calvin Ridley. And this offense is already ascending, okay? If you look at this Jags offense from 2021 to 2022, it's actually hilarious to look at. Points per game, they were last. Now they're 9th. Total yards per game, 27th. Now they're 7th. Pass yards per game, they were 23rd. Now they're 10th. And passing touchdowns per game, they were last. Now they're 12th. And remember during the offseason, everyone was just making fun of this team? Oh, you just paid Christian Kirk so much money. I mean, what are the Jags doing? They were trying to give him a weapon to allow Trevor Lawrence's career to develop. Now it has. Right. Now you're getting him a X factor weapon in Calvin Ridley. Check out Trevor Lawrence from 2021 to 2022 already. And now you're about to add an elite wide receiver to the team. I still think that Calvin Ridley is a top 12 talent in the NFL. You can disagree with me. That's okay. Now, I wouldn't value him as a top 12 wide receiver in Dynasty, but that's a different conversation. Already, we see better completion percentage, more passing yards, more passing touchdowns, less interceptions, higher QBR, better fantasy production. Trevor Lawrence is on the rise, and it's not going to stop. And you look at the production that he's already put up. Again, whatever you guys think about Christian Kirk, you hate him, you like him. He was my guy this year. Regardless, I think we can agree he's not a 1 on a team. He's not a 1. He is a 2. He is a very, very, very good 2. But even with that skill set, Christian Kirk was able to put up over 1,100 yards on 84 receptions, 8 touchdowns, finished as a wide receiver 14. In fact, I actually made we had a hot take segment before the year. One of my hot takes was Christian Kirk is going to finish top 12 in targets and top 24 as a wide receiver. And that was a hot take at the time. I feel like I hit on that one. I missed on some others, but let's pretend like that didn't happen. Zay Jones also put up huge numbers. He was a top 24 wide receiver. Now, enter your new wide receiver 1, Calvin Ridley. My guy is going to eat in this offense. He is going to eat. And you don't just forget or lose the ability to play wide receiver, guys. Okay? And also, friendly reminder, Calvin Ridley wasn't just sitting on his couch for a year. This is a professional athlete. Like, of course he's been working out. Stop with that nonsense. I'm willing to pay the following price to acquire him. And according to community rankings, these are realistic. I feel like a broken record, but every time we do a trade show, we have to say,
yeah, we have to say
your league is different.
Somebody out
there. Who
there
knows what your league's going to do? You might have to pay more. You might have to pay less. You might have to add picks. I mean, we always do like 5 or 6 counters to get to a trade that we're happy with in our leagues. These are names that you can start with. Some of them will be straight up. Some of them will be conversations, packages. Cam Akers, James Cook, Mike Will, D-Hop, Dalton Schultz, Aaron Jones, Tyler Algier, Mike Evans, A.J. Dillon, Rashad White, Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson. If you can send Christian Kirk right now straight up for Calvin Ridley, do that in a heartbeat and don't think about it again. And just thank yourself later this time next year. Okay? And if you're looking to send a pick, apparently it's going to take a mid-second round pick, early to mid. I think you could probably do a mid, but I think you might not want to go the pick route this year because people are undervaluing the second round. So try and use one of those players that I mentioned and start a conversation. Maybe you do DeAndre Hopkins straight up. Maybe you do Tyler Algier in a late third. You know, like get creative. Like make it happen. So bye, Calvin.
No, I hear you. I mean, if you're trying to win now, I mean, Calvin's definitely a good guy to go out and get. All right, my first wide receiver, my first win now trade target. that you should get, who Zach kind of mentioned, was DeAndre Hopkins, a guy that I really like, a guy that, let me tell you why. Okay, 2022, wide receiver 41. Okay, he missed 7 games, remember, with that suspension early on in the season, and then he missed the last 2, so missed 9 games in total. Points per game, though, he was 11th when he only played, 6, 7 games, right? Currently, right now, he's a wide receiver 37. And mind you, understand this is a win now window. So maybe you're a win now team, and you're looking for that next piece, and DeAndre Hopkins is there. But I know you probably have in your mind, oh, Kyler Murray, but he's hurt. Wait until the end. Wait until the end of the take. Let me tell you why it's good to buy DeAndre Hopkins right now. Okay, consistent production. He's always been a consistent wide receiver for his whole career, essentially, right? Outside of the years he has been injured. Since 2013, in his rookie year, he was wide receiver 50. That's his rookie year, right? 2014 wide receiver 14, 2015 wide receiver 4, 2016, a little dip, wide receiver 26, 2017, wide receiver 2, 2018, wide receiver 1, 2019, wide receiver 5. You get what I'm saying, right? In the past 2 years, in 2021, he didn't miss 7 games. And then 2022, he missed the 7 games with the suspension. But when he did come back, he was wide receiver 7 from week 7 to 17. Okay, and he was averaging 16.9 fantasy points. And if you extrapolate that, he would have finished as a wide receiver 5 if he wasn't suspended, hypothetically, right? In the past 10 years, also, DeAndre Hopkins has played with 14 different quarterbacks, which, hear me out, wait until the end of my take, because this is where I think could potentially be going. So many Matt Schaub, Case Keenum, Ryan Fitzpatrick. I can go on. Deshaun Watson, Kyler Murray, Colt McCoy, Tracy McSorley. We know the quarterbacks he has been with and who he's been producing with some really bad quarterbacks and with some really good quarterbacks, right? So it's safe to say no matter where DeAndre Hopkins goes, he will still be fantasy relevant. Number 2, it's time to move on, I think, for this Arizona Cardinals. I don't think the Cardinals are in a weird spot right now. Kyler Murray is injured. He tore the ACL kind of late into the season. Is he going to be ready for week 1? I'm not sure. And if he's not, then I feel like the Cardinals are going to be in an area where they might want to potentially rebuild, but not necessarily rebuild, because you do have some good pieces a little bit, right? Like maybe you chalk this year and say, okay, we're going to wait until Kyler Murray has 1 year under his belt with the ACL and then bring some talent in. So I don't think this is a time for DeAndre Hopkins to kind of move in and say, okay, I'm going to compete for the ship, right? They also got a new GM, and they're currently interviewing head coaches and offensive coordinators. They don't necessarily need DeAndre Hopkins to be playing with Tracy McSorley or Colt McCoy. Like, he doesn't want to do that. So my third reason is that now it's time for DeAndre Hopkins to move on. Time for him to chase the ship, chase the ring. Time for him to say, hey, I'm 30 years old, about to be 31. I want a ring. I want something, right? And this is a lot of hypotheticals, but hear me out, because I do believe this is a true thing that can happen. He doesn't want to he wants to put himself in position to get to his goal. He doesn't want, maybe he requests a trade. Maybe a team out there that just missed out of the playoffs need to make a push for that other wide receiver, okay? Kind of like what OBJ did. OBJ was a free agent. He was looking for stuff. Maybe he wanted to get traded. You know, he was like, I'm not going to play. Maybe DeAndre Hopkins kind of goes that route. Does he go to the Cowboys out next to CeeDee Lamb? Does he go to the Bills next to Stephon Diggs? Does he go to the Chiefs, right? I mean, they don't have a top wide receiver there. Does he go to the Packers if Aaron Rodgers stays with Christian Watson? Can he go to the Ravens, right? I mean, these are teams that have always been successful, at least for the past couple of years, and have been going to the playoffs and have been missing that piece. Does he go back to Deshaun Watson and the Browns and say, okay, I already have that chemistry. Deshaun Watson, another year back in the league now. It's time for him to move on. And I think this is exactly what's going to happen. This is why I believe before the move, because a lot of people are saying, well, there's no point in me having DeAndre Hopkins as Kyler Murray is going to miss, hypothetically, 4 games in the first part of the season, 6 games. However long he's going to take to recover, DeAndre Hopkins is kind of going to feel like a waste, right? Because you're not confident starting DeAndre Hopkins with Colt McCoy or whoever is going to be that quarterback under center for the Cardinals in the first part of the season in 2023. So if he does get moved in the offseason, if he does request a trade, if another team goes for a push, I guarantee you right now, if DeAndre Hopkins goes to one of those teams that I mentioned, he's a top 15, top 20 wide receiver in Dynasty. Doesn't matter of the age, because people want the opportunity for him to take you and make you win, right? To win now. It's a win now trade video. You want to win now. So I think the opportunity in the trades in the time keep saying opportunity, but the thought process of him giving you the ability to win that ship could take you to that next level. So I know DeAndre Hopkins, and I'm not bringing too much stats, but I'm bringing a lot of hypothetical. But I'm leaning on that because he's 30 years old and he's not going to have another low year with Kyler Murray waiting for him to get healthy. I mean, all due respect, I mean, even though as much as I respect Kyler Murray as a player and how much fantasy relevance he brings to DeAndre Hopkins, Hopkins is not going to wait for that no more, right? So these are some players I'm willing to trade away to get DeAndre Hopkins. Maybe you can kind of package it. Maybe you can figure it out. I don't know, because right now, once again, he is wide receiver 37 according to the community. So the price is pretty cheap. Tyler Algier, A.J. Dillon, Gabe Davis. Once again, the Buffalo Bills. He takes over that Gabe Davis role. Mike Williams, Juju Smith, maybe Darnell Mooney in a third. Maybe Rondell Moore in a third, right? Once again, this is just according to the community. And then picks, I can see maybe a mid-second. Right now, it's saying a early to mid-second, but I feel like a 206, 207 feels really comfortable right now, but it could be a bit of a stretch. I know it's a lot of hypotheticals, but there could be a chance there, in my opinion.
Yeah, let's see. Let's see what happens with D-Hop. He definitely could be on the move. My second buy player is another wide receiver. And, wide receivers are, I wouldn't say that one of the most important, but outside of quarterbacks, I feel like with the amount of flexes that people have now and, 3 wide receiver leagues, I think that this will still be good information, hopefully. If you miss out on Calvin Ridley, consider trading for this player before he maybe gets traded away from his team. That is Brandon Cooks. Brandon Cooks. Let's talk about him a little bit. Finished the year as the wide receiver 51, 10.3 points per game. A vast history of proven production from Brandon Cooks' career. 6 of his 9 seasons, over 1,000 yards. One of those was his rookie year, right? So hard to judge him too much. 6 of 9 seasons, he had 5 touchdowns or more. 6 of 9 seasons in fantasy football, he finished as a wide receiver 20 or higher. 4 of 9 seasons, he finished as a wide receiver 15 or higher. Average targets per year, 107 in his career. He is averaging 107 targets per year. That's pretty ridiculous, especially with the NFL when he came in.
Right.
As far as like how the NFL changed as becoming more of a pass-focused league to where it is now, I think that's pretty impressive. If you look at his career targets per game, in his entire career per game, he's averaging 7.3 targets. Insane. Ridiculous type production. This is a player who is absolutely being held down by the team that he is on. Let's dive into how awful that team is, the Houston Texans, lest we forget. The Texans offense in 2022 was 30th in total points per game, was 31st in total yards per game, which, by the way, they're actually last. They just tied for someone for last. That's the only reason they're not 32. Pass yards per game, 25th. First downs per game, 21st. Davis Mills, QBR, 29th. Speaking of Davis Mills, let's check out the incredible year that he had. Completed 61% of his passes through 17 touchdowns and 15 interceptions. Regressed in almost every single category that you can look at. It was rough. I mean, this team was actually starting Jeff Driscoll at times. Jeff Driscoll was throwing the football for the Houston Texans, and Davis Mills was healthy. That is the team we are talking about here in H-Town. Absolute mess. And somehow they still botched this tank, and they didn't even get the first round pick. Just a mess of a franchise. Okay? A change of scenery is coming in 2023. Yeah. Brandon Cooks already requested a trade before the trade deadline last year. There was not a trade that was able to be worked out. Unfortunately, there was talks about him going to the Packers. We heard talks about him going to the Chiefs. I mean, there was talks all around the league of different places that he could go. And now it's being reported that both sides are going to work towards a trade this offseason. He will likely go to a contender and be a contributor to that team day one. Day one, he could contribute to one of these contending teams. And the best part about this take is the price. He is the wide receiver 60. He's a wide receiver 60. Okay? Even if I tell you this take and it doesn't work out, you're going to be completely fine. But the upside is totally there. Here are some names that you could trade away to get him. Tyler Boyd, Zay Jones. Yes, that might be risky. I'm willing to trade away Zay Jones with Calvin Ridley coming in. Michael Gallup, Nico Collins, Alan Lazard, KJ Osborne, Hunter Renfrow, Damian Harris, K. Dotton. You could even send a early to mid third round pick for Brandon Cooks. If you're competing and you need help in your flex, what happens if Brandon Cooks goes to the Chiefs? What happens if Brandon Cooks goes? I'm trying to think of a team right now, and I can't think of a team. What happens if he goes to the Cowboys, guys? What happens if he gets traded to the Cowboys? I mean, there are so many scenarios that you could point out where it's like, oh, wow, he's probably a top 24 finish this year. And that's the point. It's going to cost you barely anything.
Right.
Go do it if you're trying to win right now. I think if there's a single value that's the best I've brought today, that would be it. Would be Brandon Cooks, because it's literally going to cost you nothing. It's not going to set you back at all. So go do it.
Yeah, let's see where Brandon Cooks goes. I mean, there was rumors early saying that the Giants wanted him in the trade window, and I did not.
Who wanted him? Sorry,
the Giants, and I did not
Giants.
want that.
Yeah,
I mean, it would have been nice, but
he would instantly be the best receiver on your team.
He would, but he would be the oldest one.
That's true. I mean, but he's only 29 years old, so it's not like he's
He's not.
He's not like
he would definitely help us.
Like Adam Thielen.
Yeah, he would definitely help us win.
Sure.
But I don't want to pay that money. Anyways, my second win now player for you guys is Jerry Jeudy. We're going back to it, right? Because I think there is an opportunity right now. If you're a team that just missed out on the playoffs, right? Maybe you were in the semifinals or that early round, week 14, and you're missing. You just needed that one person. Maybe Jerry Jeudy could be this guy for you, right? Finished wide receiver 26 this year, and he's currently ranked the wide receiver 22. So it might come at a steep price potentially, but I'll tell you the price at the end, but let me tell you the reasons why you should buy. Understand why, right? So Russell Wilson, number one. I still believe in him, and he had a terrible year. It was complete dog shit for this team, right? For the Broncos, for the head coaching scenarios, for everything that was happening. According to PFF, they had the 5th worst offense in 2022 and the 9th worst passing offense in 2022. They could not get anything rolling. Whether that was Russ, whether that was the play calling, it doesn't matter. It just wasn't there, and it wasn't meshing well for them. And we saw and remember how terrible the play calling was, the time management was, all throughout the season when Nathaniel Hackett was there, right? But I believe in Russell Wilson. I believe in what he can do. I mean, Zach brought him as a buy low candidate in the quarterbacks video. That hopefully that should be coming out here soon. Already be out, but maybe that's a sneak peek. And look, he's always had a consistent wide receiver production. Obviously not in the past 2 years, in 2021 and 2022, but since 2015 to 2020, he's always had somebody in the top 15 with Doug Baldwin or Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf, right? So obviously in 2022, he had Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, wide receiver 26, wide receiver 45. I think that was just because of the transition. Mind you, this is also his first year out of Seattle in a new offense, him learning something new for the first time in a very long time. Number 2, a new head coach of offensive coordinator is coming, and then that's going to be massive. There's so many opportunities for whoever's coming in. This is a contending team. This is a ready contending team, right? They have a good defense. They have amazing weapons on the offense. Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, Greg Dulcich, Javonte Williams when he comes back. And you have one of the best quarterbacks, a Super Bowl winning quarterback, and Russell Wilson. Whoever comes in knows what they're going to do. Whoever comes in knows the type of talent they have. So they're going to be opening up this playbook. And I believe in John Elway is going to make the right choice to make this offense a deadly, air-rated type team. They're in a tough division. Chiefs, Chargers, and Raiders. That's tough, right? I mean, that's not easy. So they have to get the ball rolling. So I believe in somebody like a Jerry Jeudy to take this year in 2023 to the next level. Number 3, another year. Jerry Jeudy has another year under his belt with the same quarterback finally in Russell Wilson. The same opportunity that he has the chemistry, he has the rhythm, he knows what Russell likes, he knows how he wants him to run the route, he knows the timing. I think that's fantastic because for Jerry Jeudy's whole career, he's had multiple quarterbacks, and he had a crazy quarterback carousel. I mean, we can go through the list, but I don't have time for that. Okay, number 4 is production. The production that he has acquired towards the end of the season, the uptick at the end of the year production, right? In the second half of the season, Russ and Jerry found a good rhythm. You saw a massive uptick in production and targets in every single level and an area for Jerry Jeudy, right? Weeks 1 to 10 versus weeks 13 to 18. Up in targets, up in receptions, up in yards per reception, up in fantasy points. And if you take those averages from weeks 1 to 10, he will finish wide receiver 41. And if you take weeks 13 to 18, he was wide receiver 9, Jerry Jeudy. I mean, you kind of saw it happening towards the end of the season, and maybe that can kind of continue into 2023 once they get this new head coach, once you have another year under your belt, once you have a new offensive coordinator, once you get Javonte Williams back. I mean, so much is going to happen for this team. They are set. They are ready to compete right now. They need the mindset. They need the leadership. Right. And I love Russell Wilson. I think he's always positive. He's always going to come back. He's always going to try and have that. I like to say, I don't know about that video. If you remember that Mamba mentality, he wearing that Kobe jersey. Yeah, I just wore the Kobe jersey because I just wanted to hit that Mamba mentality. I think
he walked in first day of practice with the Broncos wearing his own jersey.
His own jersey. I mean, I believe in Russ as much as cringy as he is. He's proven, right? He's proven that he's there with Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton. I believe, and once again, if you were just outside getting into the championship, and you were one of those teams that finished on an 11th, 10th, 9th, and you just need that one extra guy, Jerry Jeudy could be that. So that means you might have a pick, right? You probably finished it towards the end of the year, and you're looking into your rookie mock drafts, and you have maybe the 110, the 111, the 112, or whatever the 109. I think I would be happy to trade that for Jerry Jeudy, right? I mean, outside of Jackson Smith and Jigba and Quinton Johnson, I would personally say I'm really comfortable with Jerry Jeudy over Jackson Smith, or over Jordan Addison and over Kayshon Boutte personally, because I think Jerry, in my opinion, is proven and has a good quarterback. But here's some players I will be trading away, and you might disagree, and that's okay. Here's some players I might be trading away to acquire Jerry Jeudy: DJ Moore, Terry, Ramondre Stevenson, Tony Pollard, Damian Pierce, Dalvin Cook, Christian Kirk. I just think Jerry has a better situation right now, and I believe in once again, the head coaching scenarios, the uptick in production, and everything that he can be in and have. I think the biggest thing for me is another year with Russell Wilson. This is the first time with the same quarterback in his whole career in the NFL. This is fantastic for Jerry Jeudy, in my personal opinion. So I'm really excited. If you can, acquire Jerry Jeudy. See what you can do.
Yeah. No, I think we both like Jerry Jeudy. He's definitely been someone that you've loved for quite a while, and maybe this could be the year. This could be the year it all comes together.
It's always 1 year too early for me. I always like somebody a year too early.
By the way, I said earlier that Brandon Cooks was wide receiver 60 in the Dynasty community. Mm-hmm. I just checked again today. I did this take yesterday. He's now the wide receiver 62. What could he be by the time the video comes out? Maybe he's a wide receiver 65. I mean, it's a good time to buy some of these guys for sure.
It definitely could. And one thing I didn't say for my DeAndre Hopkins take is that they also have an out right now. That's all I want to say. They also have an out. So I know it's a lot of hypotheticals, but
yeah, they'll trade him. They'll get value for him.
Exactly.
Yeah, they'll trade him. All right, guys, why don't you comment down below? Let us know what you think about these buy lows. I mean, it turned into a wide receiver take, but I guess, to be honest, if you've made it this far, we don't really want to buy running backs this offseason.
Exactly, yeah.
I think that's what made it difficult. We've done buy low quarterbacks and tight ends in a separate video, so it made it actually difficult because we don't really want to advise to buy many running backs, and we've already kind of done the select few that we would be comfortable buying.
It's tough.
So that made it tough, but we only want to put out information that we actually believe in, and here we are doing that. So comment down below with your thoughts, like the video, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos,
watch it.
You can also subscribe
right now
if you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLandFam.